when you start a company and you have a product, right? The getting those first few customers is really tough. And how do you get your first customer? Because they know for the fact that you don't have any customer, right? So the platform that we were working on was not very hot. I mean, if you guys know a little bit about software, you would know technologies like .NET or Java. So our first few customers were agencies in India. Most of them are our clients.
We have someone coming from outside, so I think he should know how excited we are. Can we show him with a couple of yes, yes? Are we excited to have him here? Awesome.
That's awesome.
Cool. Okay. So, Mr. Samir, just want to start a little bit about you first before
Yeah.
we jump into marketing stuff and things that can get people inspired. You started your education was in engineering, right? So I guess a lot of people that even I know in marketing are actually first from engineering.
Okay.
What triggered? What made you think that engineering is the way to go? Why did you choose engineering?
I didn't choose. My parents chose. So, so that's the thing, right? I mean, I think yeah, same. No, I think back then in our days it was a default setting. You guys have a lot of career choices now, but in our days at least, engineering was the default setting. You don't know what to do in life, go for engineering. Wanted to do a career in cricket, Bollywood. Parents would say no, you have to go for engineering. So that's how it started. I mean, uh, many years back. So I have to really recollect why I went for engineering. But fine, I was not really bad in studies. I was okay in physics, maths. So that was the obvious choice.
So if I were to ask you, what was your 12th standard percentage?
No, so I didn't do 12th. I did diploma and then I did engineering.
Okay.
So my diploma percentage were pretty good. You don't ask me my 10th percentage. They were pretty bad. 69. It's very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I hope everyone agrees that anything less than 70 here is not good.
Yeah, it's very truly not good.
Okay. Amazing. So engineering happened not
Yeah.
by choice, but I think something happened by choice.
Yeah.
After engineering, you spent 7 years working in the software industry.
Right.
How was that for you? Can you tell us some of the interesting things that you've learned?
Yeah.
Some interesting stories about that part of your life.
So whatever job I got, the first job that was into software, again, the platform that we were working on was not very hot. I mean, if you guys know a little bit about software, you would know technologies like .NET or Java. But I got to work on a tech called as Delphi. I'm sure nobody would know what Delphi is. It was even outdated back then. But the domain was pretty good. So I got a chance to work in finance as a software programmer, and I worked on derivatives market, futures, options, all that stuff, interest rate swaps and currency cross currency swaps. So we were actually developing a software on derivatives, and it was new in India. I'm sure a lot of you guys would have some idea about futures and options. Back then, it was pretty new, so we were actually doing coding on it. So the domain was very good, although the tech was not so hot. And I worked there for about 2 years in that company, then moved on and got a chance to work on insurance domain for UK, and then I worked for mutual funds domain.
Okay.
So about 7 years, different jobs. I always got a chance to work on finance domain, and I can confidently say that I was pretty good programmer, software programmer. The skill that I do not put on my resume anymore, doesn't matter. That's how it really started. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one follow-up question from all of these guys sitting here is uh, all this complicated math that you did, derivatives and things like those, does it have anything to do with marketing?
No, nothing to do with marketing. I mean, I did not. I did not know anything about marketing when I actually started my company. I did not know anything about accounts when I started my company. In fact, the first client where we were supposed to take money from them, I told them, "Give me your money, then I'll raise the invoice." Then he explained, you have to first send the invoice and then give it. So when you start, if you're really good at what the core work that you do, which was software in our case, everything else can follow. So I mean, I know a lot of you would want to be entrepreneurs. Uh, don't worry about too many things. It's great not to know a lot of things, honestly. Having said that, you should be really good at that one thing that you're doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that brings me to my next point. So you did engineering not by choice. You had 7 years of work experience in software, where
Yeah.
I think for all of us, you were doing a lot of complicated things like derivatives and in insurance. What triggered you to start your own thing, and why particularly Martech? Right. So Martech for everyone means marketing technology as an industry. So before you start talking about what Konnect Insights is, I think
Right.
very interesting to understand what really triggered and what made you realize that maybe there's a market gap, maybe there is a need for something like
Yeah.
this.
Sure. I'll tell you what, when you reach to a certain stage, like, our company is about 10-year old, the product that we have now will not always be the one that we thought of. You always pivot. Sure. That's how the journey, every successful company you talk about, they'll say that the product that we have now is not really what we thought of. It pivots and market changes. So you actually keep changing your product and reach to a stage what really fits the market. So back then, when this idea came to start a company, it was not the end product that we have today. I actually started with a B2C product. I'll give you a context of what we do. Konnect Insights, I don't know if you have all researched or not. It's a product into customer experience management. In India, it is known as ORM product, social listening. But we unify the entire customer experience. So every single person who reaches out to brand on any given channel, we bring that data into our platform, publicly, legally available data. And if you have authenticated your own channels, then your private data. And make sure that as a brand, I know everything about this person. So we unify the entire customer experience. When I started, coming back to your question, it was an app which was similar to kind of Foursquare, where you can just go and tag.
Can you explain to them what Foursquare was back then?
Foursquare, like you go to a certain location and you just say that I was here. It's very simple, something of that.
Something that people do now on Instagram.
On Instagram, which is locations.
So guys, back then there was an app called Foursquare just to tell people where you are, which now is very easily available on your Instagram stories.
So there was a separate app for it. Something similar to that we were developing for all the restaurants and all the business owners in India, and give analytics on top of it. That's how we started. And then we realized that the analytics part is something that they were interested in. So again, whatever you're developing, you cannot actually sit in office and keep working on it. It's the easiest thing to do. The toughest part is to actually go and meet your end consumers, understand from them what they want. That is important. And because you are a very small team, back then it was just me and a couple of folks. I had two interns, so it was a very short team. So it was a very small team. So what you need to do is also go out and understand your consumers. That's what we did. And then we realized that maybe instead of a B2C product, we should work on a B2B product. That realization came after a year and a half. Then we pivoted into this product called as Konnect Insights. I met one agency who said that I want something where I can get my analytics reports easily, because I pay to an agency about 10,000 rupees a month just to get my Google Analytics. And there's some other agency that gives me social media analytics. Can you give me everything in one? And we said, fine, this is what actually we were looking for. And then we started working on the product. So things will pivot. Today we have reached to a stage where it's an omni-channel customer experience. 10 years back, that this thought never came. That we will unify the entire customer experience. We'll bring in data from all possible channels all over the web, and your calls and your chats, your CRMs will integrate. It has evolved to a stage where now brands look at an omni-channel experience, not just point solution like an ORM, which it was 8 or 10 years.
So, if I were to simplify it for everyone, what's the major difference between ORM, which is online reputation management,
Right.
and customer experience, or rather, what is it that Konnect Insights has created for brands?
Yeah.
Let's take an example of, let's say, IID. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say IID is a brand, and IID approaches Konnect Insights to understand insights or analytics about the consumer from different touch points, from different sources. And instead of going to Google Analytics, to Facebook ads, to a lot of other social listening tools, Konnect Insights becomes one medium where I can have multiple like a multi approach of different platforms coming in together and giving their data on one single platform.
Right. So, see, as a brand, uh, what kind of insights you need today? First of all, as a brand, I need to know what people are talking about me on all possible channels. Why is that important? Is because today, if you have to buy something, let's say you have to buy a mobile phone or you have to buy an expensive car, whatever, what do we do? What do we do? We first go and read reviews. And if I find a review from one of my friend who is talking negative, then it doesn't matter what the brand ambassador is saying. I will go by your review because you matter a lot to me. You and me are not influencers, but we have what 500 odd friends. And if I say something, then of course, as a friend of mine, you are not going to buy something, or you want to buy something based on my opinion. So these opinions matter a lot. And not everything will be nice for a brand. Things will go wrong. In fact, things go more wrong than right. And on online, you'll always see that only when you have negative feedback to give, you will go and put a negative. So it's important for brands to listen to the customers, engage with them, resolve their queries, make them happier. If I'm happier, you're happier, you'll buy that product. So the communication, the brand communication in past 10 years has completely changed. As a brand, I am no more in control of my brand's communication. It's the consumers who are in control of my brand communication. So I need to listen to them, engage with them. So the one thing that every brand does is to listen to the customers, and understand what is the sentiment, how you're faring against the competition, what are your campaign insights, what different product categories people talk, from which regions they talk, what is the demographics. You get all these insights. So one part of insights is listening, and engaging with them. The other one is also analyzing what you are talking on the social media platforms, because you make posts and so are your competitors, and you need to do industry analysis, understand what kind of posts are working, how many video views you are getting, uh, you know, uh, uh, during campaigns, what are the performance of the campaigns, and what is there for competition if it is publicly available. Metrics such as impressions, reach, all these are very important. So first thing is listening analytics. Second is, let's say, talking analytics. Yeah? And you also need to send out surveys, get customer feedback, do market research, and do that kind of insights also, right? Now, what we do at Konnect Insights is we do all that into one platform. We completely unify that and give you insights which are in one platform. That's not about it. That's not the only thing that we do. We also unify the entire customer experience, because I, as a customer, might come on any given channels. I will choose my own channel. How many online channels do we know of? Let's take social media only: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. You have apps, so Play Store, App Store reviews. You have Google business reviews. In certain markets that we work, there are Trustpilot, Zallo, Viber, Line, WeChat, TikTok. Then you have blogs, forums, news, consumer forum, review sites, Amazon reviews. We can come from all these places. Now imagine if Dinesh comes from all these channels and I'm a brand, and he's talking to me in various channels, because he wrote to me first time on Twitter, I did not respond. He called me, then he emailed me, then he went to the review site, posted something. My agents, they'll go mad answering to one person. So you need to unify and give you one view of that customer. And again, that agent has to respond within, let's say, 10 minutes or so. And he is not going to read everything. So you need AI summary for that. So imagine back 8-10 years what we started with and what it is today.
So if I were to put it in a nutshell, you're trying to find every possible customer, even an existing customer that is trying to grab your attention across multiple platforms.
Yeah.
On just one platform called Konnect Insights.
Yeah. So you get everything in one platform, and then there are a lot of agents who work on it. Yeah.
Sure. So if a brand were to use Konnect Insights, it's not just a reaction. It's not just a reaction to the campaigns, to the social media posts, etc. that you're putting up. But I'm guessing all of y'all are aware of, how does a strategy always begin? The first step of strategy is research, right? What do you research about? You research about the customer, because customer is always the king. You research about the competition, and you research about the market.
Yeah.
So I can say that Konnect Insights is a platform that helps me with this research and also helps me understand once I have implemented a strategy, how is it really working out.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Konnect Insights itself, because you already mentioned how interesting it was in the beginning.
yeah.
Tell us about the very first client that you onboarded, and like you already mentioned about
Yeah.
accounts being a challenge. What are
Okay.
some of the other challenges that you
Yeah,
faced?
that was addressed after first client.
Which was the first client that you ever onboarded for Konnect Insights, and when was this?
So when you start a company and you have a product, right? Getting those first few customers is really tough. Yes, it's very tough. Trust me. Uh, and how do you get your first customer? Because they know for the fact that you don't have any customer,
Yeah.
right? So why should they trust you when there are other products in the market which are really good? So this is a challenge every company has, how to get your first few customers. But what we did was, we actually tied up not tied up really, we kind of worked on something with a lot of agencies where they wanted some analytics on their own website, and we provided market research reports and all, and they just used to publish. Social Samosa, if you know, everyone, right? Ankita, she was my friend back then, and I told her that we have some analysis around elections. Can we put it on your website? And that helped. So a lot of people got to know about us because of those reports. Then we created industry reports. Then we had a button that would automatically tweet about those reports. So a lot of brands got to know about us, and then we did meetings. So our first few customers were agencies in India, and today also, I mean, you name a given agency here in India, of all the WPPs and Omnicom Group and Dentsu Group, most of them are our clients. So we started our career with actually the agencies. They used our solution, they took it to the brands, and that's how we started. So our first few customers, Zapak was an agency back then, of Reliance ADAG Group, you know. And from Zapak, we got first few customers. So most customers were from the ADAG Group, Reliance Anil Ambani Group, Reliance Life, Reliance Telecom, even Tata Docomo was a client. So first few years, we got some customers, and then of course product. We did some architecture change in the product and all, and then we have pretty good customer base today, not just in India, but globally. We have customers in about 30 countries. Awesome. Yeah.
So you mentioned agencies, and agencies is an interesting point for a lot of us here, including me.
Yeah.
So how does an agency use your platform, and are there different teams, are there specialists in agencies that serve these clients for ORM particularly, or like you said, customer experience?
Right. Yes. So the way it works in India is that every brand would have an agency who would do ORM work for them. So we call it as an ORM in India, but mostly people call it as a customer experience in other parts of the world. So for ORM, they would have an agency. They would have an agents who would work on the queries. The agents will first respond to the queries. So they typically make L1 support, L2 support, L3 support. So L1 support is handled by the ORM agencies, and it's a pretty big market here in India. Certain brands would have about 50 odd agents in the agency itself who are responding to the queries. And to make their life easier, the entire AI summary and that I spoke about comes in handy. So they get a one view of the customer in the platform. Yeah.
Got it. And some of the bigger brands that your company is currently working with are Motilal Oswal, McDonald's, Decathlon, and so on and so forth. How is it working with them? Do you is it um, what's the one common feedback that you get from these bigger clients about how and what is it that they really like about customer experience as a technology?
All right. I mean, yeah, you name the brands, and then there are many. Like in BFSI industry itself, we would have more than 30 brands. Mobile phones, there are almost every other mobile phone uses us. Automobiles, we have covered all automobiles brands. So and it's a product that really works for any B2C customers,
Okay.
whether you're from banking, financial services, aviation, automobiles, fintech, edtech, QSR, retail, FMCG, you name the industry, you name the B2C industry, and then they would need a solution like this. Uh, Common factor what they want is that one platform, which gives you data from all the endpoints, and an easy to use platform where you can engage with the customers, respond to their queries, have all the insights available in one single platform. When you build products, one of the most important thing that you need to realize is that it can do great things, but it has to be simple to use. The user experience really has to be really good. And you need people who will actually work on that user experience. And in fact, one of the consultants that we hired back in 2016, he's an ex-Apple, and he really worked on our UI UX. So that has to be simple. See, we all use Gmail. We all use Gmail as an email service. How many of you realize that we use Gmail? you know we should forget the platform and focus on emails. That's the beauty. If you are anybody interested in sports, how many times you remember a referee or an umpire? You saw World Cup finals, do you remember the referee? No. If a referee has done a good job, then you'll forget him. Only will remember if he has done a bad job. That's the thing with products. If Gmail does a bad job, then you will realize, oh, I'm using Gmail. Otherwise you're focused on emails.
Yeah.
So that's what I understand. Our job is like an umpire or referee, that they should forget that they're using the product and purely focus on their work.
So, if you have to become a successful entrepreneur, the two important things are A, to understand the problem and hence be good at problem solving.
Yeah.
And the second one is to keep things simple, right?
Yeah.
The more complicated your product is, the more of a referee you become. Right?
And one more thing, I mean, what we also should focus always on is what next, because the consumers will always not know that they want this, So you really talk to a lot of people, and not just focus on one market, but focus on a lot of markets, and then understand what they want. Then come back to your boardroom and analyze what needs to be done, because things move very fast in these days. And if you're really happy with what you're offering today, then maybe you would not be relevant. So you keep have you always have to keep innovating few things. Yeah.
Got it. So, because you spoke about having access to multiple clients across different countries, Konnect Insights is global with access to, I think, clients across 30 different countries, if I'm not wrong. How did that happen? What made you go from working in the software companies for 7 years to starting off something to pivoting into something else and then deciding, you know what, I'm going to take it global. I'm going to go to different countries. What is your go-to-market strategy, right? Like we say GTM.
Yeah.
What is your GTM strategy, and how do you approach? And what is different in a client sitting in, let's say, Andheri West here versus somebody, if I'm not wrong, in Brazil,
Okay.
right? So how's that been for you?
They play football, we play cricket.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. When we started working on this software, right, the idea was always to architect in a way where it is global, because you cannot just think small. You have to think really big. How it can, because the product that we work on is something that if it works for 10 brands in India, then it has to work for 10,000 brands globally. We knew that. So it was at least on the product side architected in a way that it works globally. And reaching out to different markets is really tough. Like getting a meeting in an agency is difficult. And how difficult would it be to get a customer in Saudi, let's say, who is someone like STC Pay, for example? Okay, so the way to have your GTM, like this could be a very advanced topic for someone, but nevertheless, you need to look at partners who would be interested in selling your product. So the way we manage our GTM or go to market is we find the partners who sell similar complementary products, and we find partners who are like ISV partners or channel partners. I'll simplify this. So ISV meaning independent software vendors, SaaS companies like us, who offer certain solution, but their product has a gap which our product meets the gap. Right? Getting my point? Right? Similarly, in our case also, we don't do everything. We also need certain partners who will fill the gap that our product has. And that's where we define this something called the four pillars of omnichannel. I'll come to that later on. So ISV partners are the ones who actually offer similar SaaS product, but do not offer everything that a customer needs, and you fill that gap. So you identify those ISV partners, and those ISV partners have channel partners, reseller partners who sell the product. So if you strike a partnership, a very natural partnership, forget commissions and all, where they need your product, then their partners will actually go and sell your product. I call this model as something in my own terms as gravity assist, or gravity slingshot. Okay, a little technical term, but that's the way it works. So if I go into certain market and say that, okay, I fill this gap, then all that reseller network who was selling actually the other product also sells our product. So this is how we actually did get a lot of customers in the international market.
Got it. So again, let's simplify it for everyone here with numbers. So let's say if McDonald's has to pay 100 rupees for your services every month,
Yeah.
Do you directly get the 100 rupees from McDonald's, or does it come via these partners? And if so, and if you don't mind, how much do you really end up getting? And what is it that these ISVs that you mentioned take out of that chunk of 100? And if you can also give us few names of the ISVs that you work with in India. What these bigger companies who are assisting Konnect Insights to reach out to, or rather to sell directly to the clients?
I'll simplify this. So how it really works is, let's say as a brand, in terms of customer experience or SaaS products, what do I really have? Every brand has these products. Okay, they'll definitely have a CRM. You all know CRM, customer relations management. There are platforms like Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics. So there is CRM that everybody will have. They'll have contact centers. Contact centers means you call them IVRs, and you reach out to them. So everybody will have a contact center. Let's take an example of something like an Genesis or an Avaya or Nice, or they'll have a CTI integration like Nolarity, Exotel, So these are certain platforms where you can actually call and reach out to them. Everybody will have chatbots, right? And everybody will have marketing automation tools, so and everybody will have a social listening. Okay, now if I decide to do everything, I'll not be great at it, right? So what we do is, Salesforce needs us, Microsoft Dynamics needs us, Genesis needs us, and we need them. So those become your ISVs, and that completes my four pillars of omnichannel customer experience, which I'll explain.
Got it.
And Kia also we have that. So that is how it works. Now, they're not really selling to get 25 out of my 100. They're selling to get their own 100, because they'll not get their own 100 if I don't come into the picture. So certain cases, it works like that. So the partnerships can be in any ways, where there can be a commission from our side to the partner, or then partner can go and put a markup. These are all complex, agreements. But always it should be a win-win-win. Okay, win for the ISV. Okay, win for the partner, reseller partner, win for the customer and customer, and then win for us. So always the business works like that. All the agreements that you will do in life, all the negotiations that you will do in life, everything that will be successful only when all parties win. And that's how business works. Common sense, but yeah.
Got it. Interesting. Interesting. So there are basically partners like Salesforce who complement your work.
Yeah.
And if they were to go to a McDonald's, they will go to McDonald's and say that, listen, while I am the king at CRM and managing your sales contacts, I also have a partner with me called Konnect Insights, who can give you an omni-channel experience for all analytics across the different platforms.
Well, it's not always that the case that we only rely on the partners to do our. We have our own sales team. We go in isolation. So not all brands would go with my theory of omni-channel customer experience or four pillars of omni-channel customer. They'll have their own ways of handling things. And I'll also talk about certain use cases. What would happen is, this is an ideal way I think business should be done, but not necessarily the brands will think. So you really have to have various ways because of which you are going to be successful. So if I have to give you an example of a certain brand, let's say an airport brand, one of the biggest in India, Let's take up one of the biggest airport brands here in India. What they do is they achieve the entire omni-channel experience within Konnect Insights, where not only all the social data comes here, not only all offline channels come here, which I spoke about, but the calls also come within Konnect Insights. The chats also come within Konnect Insights, but with various products and with integrations. All the analytics happens from here. Marketing automation, all the data is pushed from Konnect Insights. So their omni-channel experience is Konnect Insights. That's how they wanted to do it. There's a brand, an airlines brand, and the biggest in India. Okay, that airline brand wants to do everything within the CRM platform, and Salesforce is their platform. So we have to push data over there. Okay, and then there is one more brand in Bahrain, one of the biggest telecom brands. They want to do everything within the contact center platform. Okay, so the workflows is something that they brands decide, and we should fit into it with a plug and play integrations. It should not be a customized software or any coding needs to be done. It should be like connectors. So if you can connect seamlessly and get these things done, it's the best way to do it. That's where the products which are built like silos don't work today, and products which can build connectors fast work together, work better. I'll give you one more example. Again, coming back to the Gmail example, Gmail is not just an email tool, right? It also seamlessly integrates with your Zoom or with your calendar. Very easy plug and play integrations. If you want to build a workflow that says every time I get an email, if it has an attachment, I need to get a notification on my Slack, and that attachment should get downloaded to my Dropbox. You will not go to Gmail, Dropbox, Slack to do that development. You will just build the connectors. That's how product should be built today. The ones who are failing, and the reason why a lot of products who have this app marketplace concept are successful is because they cannot do this connection seamlessly. They are still siloed products. So your question was, do we go always via these partners? No. In case of the airport brand, we did go directly. In case of an airlines brand, we did go directly, but they wanted that integration to be done. In case of a brand in Bahrain, we did not go directly. The contact center went, and they took us along. So you have to have multiple ways in which business can happen.
This is very interesting because I think what is interesting to understand for anyone is that there are again, to be successful, have multiple sales funnels, and collaboration is the key.
Yes.
Right. For your product, just don't make the product about yourself, and make a product that you think you'll alone be able to sustain or solve a lot of problems. Identify one key problem that you are able to solve, and then find the right partners that can collectively solve the larger problems like you guys are doing. Was that the right summary
Yeah,
of
that's
what you guys do? Okay, so it's been a decade of Konnect Insights.
Yes.
Or more?
Yeah, decade, you can say.
So back, I think 10 years ago, when most of y'all were in school,
Yes.
primary school, maybe,
I'm jealous now.
or just secondary school or just college. Back then, the social media game was completely different, right? I don't know if people know there was something called Orkut.
Orkut.
Orkut back then, yes.
There's this site. I think you'll also not know. Before Orkut, there was this site called Proper. No, see, I'm older than that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there was Orkut. Let's start with Orkut being the oldest one.
Okay.
And now you have so much, and in middle you also had a lot of things happening, coming, going. The
Yeah.
likes of TikTok, of course. You have Koo.
Yeah.
And you also, and social media is not the only source, like you mentioned. Right now, you also have the likes of Amazon, and for that matter, if I'm a restaurant, Zomato, and things like those.
Google
right?
business.
Google business reviews
Yeah.
is so important,
So
right, for
important,
people. How have you seen the use of internet, or rather, let's stick to social media, by a consumer back then, and the use of social media now?
Yes.
And how have you as a company adapted to this change?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen all the changes. Like something changes, and then we have to go back and make those changes in our product because the APIs change. So a lot has changed. Like back then, Facebook was so open, and then the entire PI thing came, and it kind of became very closed. Uh, I remember why I opened my Facebook.
Sorry, when you say close, can you
Close meaning, like, earlier as a brand, it was so easier for us to reach out to the consumers on Facebook. Now, Facebook, who uses, like, brands, they don't really consider Facebook as a channel now.
Sure.
It all started with Facebook as one of the biggest social media platform, and we were. And everyone was there. Like, if you create a page back then and you make a post on that page, everybody who liked your page will see the post.
Yeah.
Now the reach numbers are what, 0.01%. You have to, needs to be advertised. So it was very, very different back then. And we would connect with friends. And, I came on Facebook because there was one car racing game. There were games on Facebook. Do you know, anybody knows? There were games on Facebook.
There was also Zynga Poker.
Zynga Poker, and then Farm Villa and all that. We are of that generation. So we played Farm Villa and then shared our score with our friends, and then connect with friends of friends and friends of friends. We created apps on Facebook. So when we were actually working on our product, we also were doing software services business. We created apps on Facebook. That was a medium to reach out to the consumers. So if you post something on Facebook, uh, then you can share it with friends of friends and friends, and the reach would be like crazy. Those things changed, then so that is one thing about Facebook, that there were not many channels back then. Instagram, and I remember it was in 2012.
2012.
And Instagram was only about photos, not only videos. Okay, TikTok came in, Reels came in, right? And then you have review sites like Google Business Reviews. That was not there. So as a consumer, I have a lot more social channels, and there are many which we obviously don't download. What is that? Swipe right, left.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so those apps came in. So you it changed completely. It's good to be in this generation rather than.
Of course, while I've been in the industry myself, and a lot of people keep asking, what is it that's kept you in this industry for so long? And I think this is the perfect example that it is an ever-changing industry, right?
Yeah.
That's the only one of the very few industries where things keep evolving or changing every other month, right? Like the best example that I gave is when back in the day, very recently, when I was working on Spotify. TikTok was very big in India, and every brand wanted to be on TikTok. And then you're sort of you've learned so much about Instagram, you learned so much about Facebook ads and Twitter ads, and then suddenly you're expected to now figure out how do you make your brand big on TikTok. And within a couple of days you have to sort of identify and get yourself accustomed to how the platform works, and then help the brand. And then 6 months later there is no TikTok. So yeah, I think that's
So as a marketer also, there's a lot of challenge. Like, a lot of you folks will be having your career in digital marketing. So in an agency or at the brand side, things will evolve. You really have to be good at what you're doing. I'm not from the marketing side. You can share some more insights on it. But a lot of strategies on social media platforms, they keep changing. So you really have to be good at what you're doing. Like, as far as Facebook ads is concerned, we are more focused on the insights part of it. So we'll focus more on what new insights are available and put that in the platform. But from the brand side, marketing side, you really have to come up with the best strategies, where if you are putting X amount of money, then what best ROI you can get. So you really have to be really good at on the tech side of it, and then use that information or knowledge to be really serving the brand.
Absolutely. I think, and that also brings me to the next question. While I think most of these guys here aspire to start a career in digital marketing, how important is sales as a profession, or as a skill rather? When you're getting into marketing, and why is it important for anyone to do a little bit of sales?
You should be interested in doing sales, uh, as long as you're not complicating the whole process of sales, or if you're not listening to a lot of people who don't enjoy sales. If at any point in your life you get a chance to do sales, then go for it, whichever ways you can go for it. In our world, sales is actually not very difficult or not very tiring. It's difficult, but it's not very tiring, because there is a process to do sales in software. But yeah, I mean, if you're really interested in having career in marketing, then this is the best time to go for it. Like, in fact, there are so many jobs available. You can get into an agency. Getting into an agency is also a nice thing, but there are pros and cons of it. Getting into a SaaS company is also a nice thing to start with. That will not be as tiring as agencies. And getting into a brand, if you get that chance, then go for it. See, getting a job is easy in these days, compared to back in our days. But wherever you go, just give your 200%. Don't really choose, or rather say that I want to do this, not this. Don't get into that zone. Whatever you get, give your 200%. And there's a lot to learn. The challenge today is not about resources. The challenge today is about focus. If you guys focus on what you love, then this is a wonderful time to be successful in career. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what is it, apart from giving your 200%, if let's say Samir comes tomorrow and says, listen, I want to recruit some of your students, what is it that you will look for in a potential marketing slash sales role for your company? What do you think largely, and SaaS, I'm guessing everyone understands, right? SaaS is
Software as a service.
Software as a service, right? So anything in the marketing technology can fit under SaaS. Um, not just, let's say, not just Konnect Insights, but largely, what do you think the industry looks for in a candidate when it comes to a marketing or sales role?
Since you asked me about SaaS, I'll give you that perspective, and then I'll also give you other perspectives. So in a typical SaaS companies, in a sales division, you will have folks called as SDRs. I'm sure you've never heard of SDR, right? It's sales development representatives. So SDRs is a good start to your career, where you can actually be part of the team who has good product knowledge, doesn't do direct end sales, but starts with reaching out to a lot of potential customers, fix up the meetings, do discovery calls, and then give it to the salesperson. That salesperson is called as an AE, or account executive. So account executive is the goal of every SDR, where they can actually do end sales. So there's AE, there is SE, SDR, and then there is something called as a SC, or a solutions consultant, or pre-sales. That's the sales team in any SaaS organization. So if you get a chance to work as an SDR, that's a good start, because that's where a lot of freshers are hired. So we look for SDRs. We look for someone in our customer success team, who again go up and become a product champion. From customer success, they go on to become solutions consultants or pre-sales, right? So if you can become a product champion as part of the customer success team, and then this is very different from a client servicing role in a brand side, because or in an agency. Sorry. Okay, so client servicing in the agency. That agency client servicing or an ORM guy is always in touch with the brand, and they kind of do their work and creatives and ORM activities, all that stuff. Whereas our customer success people are more focused on becoming product expert. They know the entire customer experience and case studies, and they become expert on the product. So we look for customer success. And then in a marketing team, obviously the way a SaaS company would do marketing is quite different from how a B2C brand will do marketing. So our marketing is not the usual stuff with a lot of ads and stuff like that. Ours is more on content, on creating case studies, focusing on doing events, webinar, podcasts. But content is the key thing. We don't do a lot. We don't do a lot of ads. We in fact have spent very little on ads. But the way we reach out to our customers, and you talk about that funnel awareness, we reach out via a lot of events. We do bespoke events. So a marketing team arranges those events, be part of those events where only we are talking, or we are part of some event by ISVs. So that's the work that marketing team does. So it's very different in a SaaS company. Whereas if you go in an agency, it will be totally different. You will get to learn a lot about Google Ads or analytics, on the advertising side.
Yeah. So because you are a B2B company,
Yeah, we are a B2B company.
how big a role does LinkedIn play for you guys? when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, LinkedIn is the platform. I mean, if we do something on Instagram, then it's only to make us happy. Nobody sees that. It's only on LinkedIn that we reach out to.
I'm sure you get a lot of followers today for your company.
Okay. So on LinkedIn. So for B2B, it's LinkedIn is the platform, you know. So everything that we focus in terms of marketing on our social media posts and all, it's all on LinkedIn. Whether it's a company page or it's by someone like me or someone who's an influencer in a company, they post on LinkedIn. That's where, yeah.
Okay, so I remember you mentioning about 4 pillars of customer experience. Can you talk us through that? What
Yeah.
are the 4 pillars, and why do you think these are important pillars for an overall customer experience that any company would want to drive?
Right. So we define something called as 4 pillars of omni-channel customer experience. And the first pillar and the second pillar really talks about listening to the customers from all possible channels. Okay. And which are these channels? I spoke about it, right? Everything on online, everything on your social media platforms like your Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, blogs, forums, news, consumer forum, review sites. These are all non-voice channels. Okay. Then comes the voice channels where you speak on phone calls and all that, where you reach out to them. You can reach out to them via chats. So the first 2 pillars really talk about all the channels from where customers can reach out to you. The third pillar speaks about analyzing all that data in one place or one view of the customer. You know, so your CRMs and analytics come into your third pillar, and the fourth pillar is to act based on those insights. You know, where you get very targeted messages based on those insights. For example, let's say I am an airport brand and I complained something about baggage at some point in time. When you actually find a solution, only I get that message. So you have tools like WebEngage who does marketing automation, but they cannot work in silos. They really have to work with platforms like us to check exactly what were the concerns and then send out a very tailor-made messages. And at the same time, they should also look into our platforms and understand that if there is an open ticket for this person, then they should not get the messages. For example, let's say you went to a ticket booking site and you just now raised a complaint that it's not working, your website is slow, and then suddenly you get a message because that our marketing automation tool is working in silos saying that enjoy our seamless booking experience, and you will take that screenshot and put it in it become crazy, right? So you need to work together, all this platform. So you need to see whether there's an open ticket or not, then do not send out these messages. So 4 pillars of omni-channel customer experience really talk about this, that you unify your entire SaaS stack. Okay, you have your marketing automation tools connected with your ticketing system. You have your analytics done where all channels are in together, and we have launched Konnect Insights Academy, and we're kind of training all these concepts in that.
So let's come back to your entrepreneurial journey, because there are I think some of our students as well. By the way, there are some students online as well. If let's come back to that journey, and what is that 1 or 2 decisions that you've made in your life for Konnect Insights that you really think have contributed to the success that you guys are seeing today? Very difficult, but
Yeah.
1 or 2 decisions that you've made.
See, 1 or 2, not really 1 or 2. There are so many decisions that you take, you think will work, don't work, and failure is part of it. You'll fail more times than you will actually succeed with your ideas and everything that you do in life. So, but learning from those failures and pivoting. I think if I have to really go back and say that one thing that really worked well for us, I'll say that we're very clear with what we are as a company, what are our core values, and we stick to that. So our core values are empathy, customer success, excellence, and gratitude. And this has to be really articulated very well. And then every new joinee who joins our company, the first day induction is about the core values, and we have very well documented what we are and what we are not. That really sets the right culture in the company, because that is very important. You can get the best of the talented people, but they have to really fit in well into your culture. That is something that is very important for any given company. I think we are correct. We are right with our core values, and they guide us when there are difficult situations, when there are decisions to be made, where the decisions can be easy or the decisions can be right. You go back to your core values and then take right decisions. uh, many of you who want to be entrepreneurs, uh, you'll be making those difficult decisions. And if you have a very good core values set, then you'll take the right. Many a times there are times when people during the renewals come back to us, say that someone is offering us a product at a
Better
and giving
price.
us commissions and stuff like that. This will happen. You will have to take decisions saying that no, this is not right,
Sure.
and we'll stick to our core values. So this is something that everybody needs to know. There are a lot of people who do not. I do not represent my company many a times. Today as we are talking, there could be 10 sales people who are doing negotiations with the customers, and but if they do something wrong, then the blame will still come back to the company,
Correct.
right? So how can they do right things? So as part of building your company, you really have to be very, very clear with your core values of what you are and what you're not, and articulate that really well. It takes a lot of time. But that's one of the most important things. While you're building a product, building your sales team, building your team, going global, this is something that really have to do right at the start.
Awesome. Very interesting. I think uh, very important, right? While people talk about your product, your services, and things like those, while those are things that keep on changing, your core values of the
Yes.
company are need to be intact for years and years,
Yes, yes.
because that is one thing that does not change. Very interesting. Okay. The key words in the past 2 years, and I think a lot of people here also would want to know what, according to you, is the impact of artificial intelligence in digital marketing as a whole, and also for a customer experience standpoint when AI,
Yeah.
came into the existence. How did Connect Insights really react to it, and
Right.
how is AI a part of Connect Insights today?
AI is a buzzword, but well before it was a buzzword, we're actually building our product on top of AI. So, uh, in terms of Connect Insights, we obviously have a lot of NLPs algorithms built. I'll not be very technical here, but we used to use a lot of AI anyways. After Gen AI, we built a Connect AI plus a wrapper on top of Gen AI, and a lot of stuff that we do are built on top of AI. But generally speaking,
Sorry, Gen AI, generative AI.
generative. So a lot of stuff that we speak about AI today, in terms of products, it's a given thing. We do have a lot of tools to improve our products today. In terms of personalization at scale, that is something that we offer from our product, but that's generally because of AI. It's now available. Personalization at scale. That's because I spoke about AI summary, didn't I? So there you get to know that from all the channels where people are coming, you get that one view of the customer. So that is one thing. There are a lot of specific ads that you can do now. Programmatic ads is something that where AI plays a big role. Content, it's big thing. Every time we have to write something, now we don't scratch our head. We go to Chat GPT. Not a good thing to do.
Yeah. I think
But
it's very good for thought starters.
Very good for thought. I mean, of course, ChatGPT is now so integral as part of our life.
Absolutely.
Everybody uses it, and everybody should use it. Yeah, in a right way.
Not for writing emails.
Not for writing. So whenever you say, "I am very thrilled," you know that it's coming from ChatGPT.
Sure, a lot of people here will agree.
Yeah, I'm
Using
thrilled. I'm
ChatGPT.
thrilled to announce. I know that's from ChatGPT. So yeah, you should write. I mean, who all love to write here? You guys love to write. Yeah, that's one thing you should always do, and write a lot. Because it's important to articulate your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't write a great article, even if there are grammatical mistakes or whatever, don't worry. Write a lot. Write your blogs. Write content on LinkedIn. Post a video on Instagram, but write a caption.
Yeah.
So yeah, AI has played a role in content, definitely, and AI is everywhere. I mean, for marketers, it's one of the best things that have happened. For technology guys, it's one of the best things that happened.
Awesome. Cool. We'll go to the last question. I think majority of the people here and online are 20 to 24, hoping to start a career, like I said, in digital marketing. But there are also some people who may want to uh, start their own company, particularly in SaaS. What is the one advice that you would want to give to our students of what is that one thing that you should keep in mind when you're starting something of your own beyond the values, of course, that you
Yeah.
spoke?
Yeah. So see, if you're thinking of building a software company, there's no right time per se. In my case, it happened after 7 years where I was really good at coding and all that stuff. I really admired myself the way I used to code. So, so that's a different thing. But you can start right time. There's no right time to start. But whenever you start, remember one thing that in early days it's all about product, right? If it's a software company that you're working on, uh, even now it's about the product. There are different layers that come. Of course, when I talk to my salespeople, I'll not say it's always about the product. They'll get offended. So when it comes to marketing, you have to do marketing in a certain way. But trust me, every entrepreneur you speak to, he will focus a lot on the product because at the end of the day, it's the product. So you really have to make your product the best that you can think of. And market is very dynamic. I mean, it keeps changing. So you really have to be in touch, have that sense, have all the data available. You should be really good with your instincts. You should be lucky also. I mean, trust me. I mean, luck plays a major role. Uh, when you start, there'll obviously be something called as a beginner's luck. I had that. Trust me, I'm very thankful for all the people that I met in my early days. They were interns, are now co-founders. So things will happen. Things will take its own shape. But be in love with what you do. If you're doing something, then you should love that thing. If you are doing something with an idea of making money, then it may work. It will not work most of the times because over the years you really need to be persistent. Your qualities of persistence, perseverance, tenacity, resilience, grit will all come into the picture, and you'll only have those qualities when you love something that you do. Otherwise it's very difficult. There's constant worrying, there is hardships, part of life, but you'll enjoy if you love that work. So if you're thinking of a certain idea, don't start that this is the market size of it, this much money I'll make, because how much money is more money? All the goals that we have in our life of making money uh, could be way less than what people spend on wedding. Yeah. On one wedding. So you never know how much money is big money. So that should not be the driving force. What you love should be the driving force. And then even if you are not a market leader in that space, but you are still a good product, you have good customers who value your product, you'll be happy, you'll be satisfied. Yeah.
Got it.
But try. Never take someone's words very seriously. Try whatever ideas you have. Please try, because your best mentor is your experience.
Absolutely. So there is A/B testing that you do in your life as well, and ultimately love what you end up doing.
In fact, Rahul Dravid once said this, and he's an idol for our generation. Yeah. Rahul, Dravid, Sachin, you will look up to those people. Federer and Sampras and Steffi Graf.
Yeah.
And if you love sports. So Dravid was once asked this question that, Dravid, tell us something about success. And I think he was at IIM. And he said that, trust me, you ask me more about failures because I've failed many times. I've scored 50 centuries, but I've played 200 innings and 150 times I've failed. So yeah, we'll fail more than we'll be successful. If Rahul Dravid is saying that, that's very true.
Absolutely. And then if you don't win a World Cup, you'll come back stronger
and become a coach and then win one day.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. That was insightful for sure. Interesting, fun. A big, big, big round of applause for Samir. And talking about an industry which is certainly crucial in the larger scheme of things. And showing us a different perspective of how important a role technology plays in marketing. And again, right, if this is something that really ignited something within you, Konnect Insights Academy is something that you should certainly go watch some content and get your certifications as well. So thank you so much, Samir.